It's up to you, New York, New York.
How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I am your host, Richie. On today's show, it is the Week 13 rundown, and we are also going to give our last-minute preview of tonight's Monday Night Football game between the New England Patriots and our beloved New York Football Giants. With me today, as always, my co-host, Mr. Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx.
Yo, what up, yo? Happy Monday.
Yeah, game day Monday. And although we are 2-10, it is an opportunity to throw a monkey wrench into the Patriots' number one seeded desires, wants, and needs, as the Giants definitely could compete. They've proven it against the NFL's better teams, Denver mainly in the AFC. The Giants have hung with pretty much this year. So there is an opportunity here for the New York Giants to do their thing.
Yep. I'm with you. Over the years, we've played New England pretty well. I mean, of course, those are years ago, and that doesn't matter today. But I think with Washington losing yesterday, Dart's coming back, and I think the team is starting to play more together. I think they've really come together since Kafka took over. Because like I said last week, how he was in the the room of the defense, and he didn't have much say so. But once he got in there, hopefully the new DC we have, tight ends coach, he'll do some of the things that Shane Bowen didn't do, as in make adjustments. I saw the interview with Dexy the other day. It happened right after Bowen got fired. But they asked him, and you can tell by his reaction, he was happy, but he didn't want to say it, But he was like, well, hey, but you can see the chuckle come out of him, like he was trying to keep from laughing. But I feel positive about tonight's game. We got a big headache with Drake May, because he can move, and we got a hard time stopping the run. Plus they got
TreVeyon Henderson, definitely a guy that the Giants need to hone in on today. Just a bit ago, I did a YouTube short bringing attention to a changing of the guard moment for both of these franchises in terms of their dual rivalry, because you can't talk about Patriots history or Giants history without including both of them in each team's storybook, so to speak. And, of course, two epic Super Bowls that were played last decade opened up this decade. Giants 2011, beating them in Super Bowl 46. Of course, the exploits of Eli Manning, David Tyree and co., and of course the Giants defense that stepped up in a major way.
Yeah.
Mainly led by Osi Umenyiora, who noticed something on film where he was getting down Tom Brady's repetitions. But this is the first time for each franchise in the post-Brady / post-Eli era where you have two franchise quarterbacks. And these young guys are the story, because while the Patriots are having a phenomenal season at 10-2, the Giants are on the other side of it 2-10. But there's a lot of hope around this Giants organization, mainly due to the fact that both these teams are in a position where the future looks bright.
Yeah.
You know, the Giants had the toughest schedule in the NFL this year and have been competing in each and every game, which is honestly a positive if you want to look at it that way, which I choose to. And, you know, New England's, in my opinion, a year ahead of schedule. They have certainly cashed in on a very manageable schedule this year.
Yeah.
But the keys to victory, in my opinion, for the New York Giants, it goes without saying that you have to get some heat on May, keep him in the pocket.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to, if not shut down, you have to limit Trevion Henderson, who has been a beast in this rookie class. You know, a lot of good rookie running backs. And I think Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley getting paid reinstilled the importance of the running back position. Because I remember when we had your cousin, wide receivers coach Aaron Moorhead of the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the topics and the points was the running back market. And we also touched on it with William Barnum Floyd. And during those seasons, running backs were still not in a good place. I do believe that right now, these young rookies, like you look at Scatabo, you look at Judkins, you look at Omarion Hampton, you got a lot of good talent. Ashton Genty, Trevion Henderson, guys that, this is a good time for running backs right now in the NFL. And, that's the key to victory for the Giants. You got to limit Henderson, and you got to force Drake May into being uncomfortable. It's not going to be an easy task. You know, K5 is not active tonight. You do get back, Paulson Adebo will be playing. That's good. I imagine he'll be, his duties will be mainly to try to do his best against Stephon Diggs, who's having a bit of a career resurgence in New England after a rocky start off the field. Patriots team's good, man. Mike Vrabel has done a hell of a job with them.
Yeah, I agree. I think with the running back renaissance, I'm glad because I felt like the running backs are basically being shitted on. But these running backs today, I think they're helping the quarterbacks now because these quarterbacks, as we're seeing, they're coming in their rookie year and they're getting trashed. They're getting knocked around.
That's a valid point, Idris.
Yeah, so you need the Saquon Barkleys and the Derrick Henrys, Ashton Genty. Genty's having the situation he's in with the Raiders, so that's the Raiders doing the Raiders, But you got these running backs who got the talent, who can run. You Nick Chubb, who's down in Houston, where he's feeling the stuff that he done. So you need these guys because these are the guys when you got the burn clock, you put the running back in there. You got that 1 yard. You don't want to set up in the shotgun or the RPO or whatever. You don't want to do that. You want to have a guy that go bam, right in the hole, And it's good that these running backs are really getting their love again because you have to have a good running game. I don't remember a Super Bowl team that didn't win without a good running game.
And, the New York Football Giants back in 11, it's funny that this topic comes up. Patriots and Giants back in 11, the two worst ranked defenses to play in a Super Bowl head-to-head.
Yep.
Giants had a bottom 3 running game that particular season. However, in the playoffs, the running game stepped up substantially in round 1 against Atlanta, also in the Super Bowl against New England, as they did a great job of keeping Tom Brady and that dynamic 2 tight end offense of Rob Gronkowski and the late Aaron Hernandez off the field. Giants came back from an 18-10 deficit to win the Super Bowl that year. And I expect a good game. All time, the Patriots and Giants are deadlocked 7-7. That is not including the Super Bowls. We're talking about regular season 7-7. So I expect a good game. My prediction tonight, however, I do have the Giants falling by a score of 27-20. I think the Giants will compete, but I think the Patriots just have a better roster and they have more depth, and they have more to play for. But Giants definitely are capable of pulling an upset if they play their game. So it should be exciting. And I think the most exciting thing is, similar to some of the epic battles even in the regular season that we saw with Brady and Eli, going back to 2007, Patriots chasing down perfection. They went 16-0 in the old Giant Stadium in a classic shootout. 38-35 victory over the Giants. A month later, the Giants beat them in the rematch. 2011, Giants beat them under a minute. Eli to Ballard. Fast forward to the Super Bowl.
Did it again.
And both Super Bowls ended the same way, with Brady chucking down the field, and every Giant fan was nervous because you gave the GOAT some time.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm gonna go Homer, man. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I just think Jackson Dart changes things on the field.
No doubt.
And I think that's gonna help us. I don't think we're gonna have. It's not gonna be a cakewalk. I think the Giants got to hit Drake May. They got to hit him so that rattle him to where he has to stay in the pocket and throw. That's the way. You got to lay a helmet on this guy. He's big, he's strong, he can run, he can throw. I mean, he's not the greatest thrower, but he can throw. But you got to hit him. That's how they got him in college and everything. You got to hit him. Adebo with Diggs, that should be a good matchup. But Adebo's been out for a little while, and Diggs has had a resurgence, man. And he seems happy. And when Diggs is happy, he's on point. When he's not happy, And Adebo has to make sure he's unhappy. Singletary,
I'll be honest.
Yeah. What's up?
Hunter Henry definitely going to be a guy that I think could have a blow-up game, so the Giants are going to have to account for him.
Oh, yeah.
They are middle of the pack, if not worse than that, in terms of covering tight ends. But back to your point about Singletary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My bad. Yeah, I think with Singletary and Tracy, we got to give them a heavy dose of them, man. Because see, now you got Singletary, you got Tracy. You also have Dart who can run, but I don't think Dart will be doing too much running unless he has to this time. I think Kafka will be more in protecting than Dable will.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And I expect a decent target share. Excuse me. For Wan'Dale Robinson, I expect Tracy to get some opportunities in screens, possibly split back sets. I think it would behoove the Giants on short yardage to roll with both Singletary and Tracy on the field. Bring in your tight ends where you're going to see an extra tight end on the line to block. It's going to be a good game tonight. And like I said off air, next year has already started for the New York Giants. But anytime that you get a test, I'm not looking at the standings. I'm looking at the big picture. These are tests that can build the morale of the team going into next year. You get a W over the New England Patriots, who haven't lost a game in, like 10 weeks or something like that?
They're like on 9-game winning streak. Yeah.
Right. 10 weeks, 9-game winning streak, whatever have you. They haven't lost in quite. That last time they lost was to the Pittsburgh Steelers, to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
And both teams the Patriots lost to are not doing well right now. And we're going to change our attention over here. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. No shows at home against the Bills. Rodgers deflects and protects head coach Mike Tomlin as some in the fan base call for his removal. Ravens are back in first. Shador's growing pains. Bengals dark horse to steal the division. I'm going to run it a quick thought on these four teams, and I'm going to pitch it to you. First of all, I said it before the game even got played. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense is a complete and utter shit show right now. As Aaron Rodgers is looking his age, I do give Rodgers credit for protecting his head coach and flat out saying it's on us, the players. That is a mature response from a mature football player. Say what you want about his selfishness. It is clear and abundant that Aaron Rodgers has a great deal of respect for Coach Tomlin. He flat out said, that's why I chose to come here. I know, Aaron, you went there because nobody else wanted you. Shador's growing pains.
Yeah.
I thought the Browns played a competitive game against a superior 49er team. They had opportunities to win the game, but the 49ers go into a rough environment, get a much-needed victory. Christian McCaffrey getting the tough yards. And Brock Purdy, making some big throws under pressure. Myles Garrett, you said it off air, honing in on the NFL sack record. It probably is going to go down. Ravens are back in first, no doing of their own. They played like really terribly on Thanksgiving night. But the Pittsburgh Steelers leaving the door open for not just the Ravens, but a Bengals team that probably has the best, not probably, definitely has the best offense in this division. And with the mediocrity right now between the Steelers and Ravens, one of them is going to be in first by themselves. They have a head-to-head matchup in Baltimore. I have no idea which way I'm going to go because neither team is impressing me, but watch out for the Bengals. They most definitely have a chance to sneak back into this divisional picture. If they can finish the season 8-9, it might be good enough to catch those teams because those teams already have 6 losses in their own right.
Yeah, to address Aaron Rodgers, I mean, good, you ran interference for your coach, and it's a good thing to do. But still, you're not getting it done, man. You're not getting it done. You look average. And I know
the Steelers are notorious for not firing coaches. They have
they won't do it. Yeah,
the fewest coaching turnovers in our lifetime.
Yeah, they don't fire coaches. Coaches win and then they retire. So
and it's also based on continuity.
Yeah,
it's also based on winning. And Mike Tomlin, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah,
he's in what year? How many years has he been 18. At the helm there?
I think 17 or 18.
Something like that. So basically 15 of the 18 or 19 years that he's been the coach of that team, they have not won a playoff game. So there's a couple of ways to look at it. I mean, some people will size up Eli Manning's career like that. You have 2 Super Bowl runs and no playoff wins in other seasons.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin's one of the better coaches in the NFL, but sometimes I do wonder if there is a complacency and a comfort level that's holding back that franchise.
I'll be honest with you, man. I think Tomlin is. I think he's just coaching. I think Tomlin's ready to pack it in. I think he's ready to pack it in last year, but I think he came back. But I think regardless of how the season turns, I think he's done. I think he'll step away. I think he's still.
It would shock me, Idris, and I remember a couple of years ago, before Brian Flores left Pittsburgh to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
I thought that if Flores would have hung out in Pittsburgh,
yeah,
he may have been the very next coach, because one thing about the Rooney family, it's not just a rule that's established in the NFL and a rule that needs to improve with the Rooney rule.
Yeah.
It's good and it's bad. It depends how you look at it. But one thing about the Rooney family is that when it comes to African-American coaches, they are at the top of the list in terms of opportunity and in terms of patience.
True that.
Where unfortunately there is a distinct disparity in terms of the patience level of owners with African-American coaches versus their peers. You've seen it with a lot of good African-American coaches who have been let go of rather quickly.
Yeah.
Flores is one of those guys that happened to. You take the creme de la creme of African-American coaches.
He works too.
Look at guys like Tony Dungy, guys like Mike Tomlin. They've been able to overcome that statistic. And then you look at other guys that are a little bit in the mid-tier that had good careers, guys like Herman Edwards, guys like Denny Green, the late Denny Green. It's still a fight. And even if you look at the first Muslim head coach,
yes,
he has his prints all over this 49er team, but he, on a lot of accounts, did not get the fairest shake in East Rutherford with the Jets. So it's constantly a battle, because when you look at a league that is predominantly African-American, but yet you don't have the faces of African-Americans in the front office on the same levels, nor in the coaching, there has to be a better hiring process. And I'm not saying hire black coaches just to fill out the numbers. What I am saying is it would be refreshing to see the same kind of patience for these coaches.
Yeah, I agree. And but I think he's done regardless. I think he'll step away this year. I mean, he's still young, so he can always come back. I mean, he's a young guy in coaching.
No doubt. But sometimes guys need to get rejuvenated, because I know for a long time you take guys like John Gruden, who more than likely is not going to come back.
Yeah.
But even a guy like a Bill Cowher for years was speculated because of the good relationship between the Pittsburgh Steelers ownership and the Giants ownership, because the Maras and the Rooneys do have a marriage.
Yeah.
That maybe one day Cowher, now this is, of course, this day has passed, but that he may have coached the Giants at some point. I know Tomlin's been linked to the Giants on a bit of a stretch. I personally don't want him, because I think he needs time away before he gets his coaching fire back. So we shall see how it plays out. Of course, Lane Kiffin, cross him off the list as he is headed to LSU.
Yeah! Yeah, go Tigers, baby.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. After seeing the way Brian Kelly left the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and went to LSU, I was happy that he failed. Because I've never been a fan of guys leaving in the middle of the night, so to speak. That's why I'm glad that this transfer portal kind of evens it out a little, where the players can stick their middle finger up at the programs too and not be relegated or feeling like they're trapped, so to speak. But wrapping it up on this division, a lot of mediocrity. I do believe that if Joe Burrow was healthy all season long, the Bengals would already be in first.
Yeah, before we close this, I want to say about Lane Kiffin. I'm glad he's with the I'm a Tiger fan since '79. I'm glad he's with the Tigers now. But I can see how Ole Miss is mad, because this has been Lane Kiffin's MO. He'll leave whenever I'm gone. That's how he does. So I understand everyone's frustration with him. I'm glad we got him because he's a good coach. But I know something happened, he'll leave LSU. So I'm prepared.
You're going to get 5 quality years, and 2 of those seasons you'll be playing for a national title. No question about it.
Yeah. Now, as for the Ravens, back in first, I think Cincinnati, they better watch out, because Cincinnati's hot. Joe Flacco is doing Joe Flacco. What's his name is back now, but still, we got
doing it. I like the combo, because one thing about a guy like Burrow, who's one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, he's not too snooty or too uppity to not listen to old man Flacco, and it's a nice little dynamic they got there.
It's just like with Dart and Jameis. You got the OG and you got the up and comer. That's why I say Cincinnati's going to be tough, because now they know they got a backup who basically can pick up where the starter couldn't.
And a defense that has been ridiculed all year. Give them their props. They played good on Thanksgiving night.
Them in Dallas. As for Shador, I'm gonna give him. He played a decent game. Got a lot of work. He got a lot of work ahead of him. But I see it in him, and I saw his maturity in the interview after the game when they tried to basically get him to shit on Kevin Stefanski. Like, look, what kind of shit is that? He called it out, and I never wanted him to fail. I just wanted him to humble himself down and say, "Look, man. It ain't all about you. It's about the people, the game. It's about your teammates, about everyone. It's a collective thing. It ain't about you." That's all because he came in brash, and people arrogant. Look, his fans fail to realize what went on before the draft, what went on during the draft. They totally missed that.
No doubt. And you recently released a video highlighting his famous father and possibly a need to step away before doing more, because, you made a great point. And the only thing you didn't touch on, which I'll piggyback on with all his football commitments going all the way back to high school, being prime time at FSU, getting drafted into one of the more vibrant cities in America, booming during the time, talking about Atlanta.
Atlanta, right.
One of the best places to be an athlete in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then, he goes to the Star. He also played with the Niners, 2 iconic franchises, helped each of them win a bowl. Then he gets into coaching, HBCUs, putting some of these HBCUs on the map, bringing attention to a lot of things that needed to have attention, takes the money, goes to Colorado, helps his 2 kids get to the NFL. But to your point about the humbling of Shador, obviously he and his brother look almost identical. So when Shiloh dressed up as Shador in the Browns outfit and he was getting loved on by the Steeler fans,
I saw that.
The first thing I said to myself was, there's no way that this is Shador, because this kid's too humble.
Yeah. I'm a Shiloh fan, dude.
But those women were thirsty, bro. They wanted more than – they were not just in fan mode.
And Shiloh just like, yeah. You know what? I love Shiloh. I really hope he gets back in the league. I love Shiloh, man. I like Shador, too. I think his fan – and I don't want him to be like LeBron, where – his fan base acts just stupid to where people
will learn, and I think he's already getting invaluable experience. Like yesterday, I'll be honest, he missed some key throws on the run, but the 49ers did a good job of flushing him out and making him a little off balance. But all in all, I give him a C+ on his performance yesterday, maybe a B-. It wasn't all that bad. It's going to be growing for Shador, but I already have him ahead of Cam Ward, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I do too. I just think once he gets the reps, and I like it because he isn't that same guy he was in at Colorado.
No, sir.
He's really he's becoming a professional. And
and he's learning on the fly. The last thing I wanted to speak on about Deion, in addition to all the good points you made, he was part of being that primetime character. Let's not forget. He was a member of the New York Yankees during one of their most dysfunctional times, right before they started cleaning house and getting things corrected. And, you know, a young Deion, very impressionable, following probably the worst guy on the team to follow. He wasn't following Don Mattingly. He wasn't following any of the quote-unquote veterans. When you follow Mel Hall,
right.
Yeah, probably the worst guy. And if you don't know why, make sure you watch Bronx Zoo. But the point to be made is, you know, Deion lived a fast life. He learned as well. And during his football journey, he also found faith. And make no mistake about it, that is real. That is not some ploy. That is not some joke. Guys like Darryl Strawberry, guys like Deion Sanders, take it back to the greatest of all time in boxing, Muhammad Ali, when he found the Muslim faith. He may have found issues within the nation. But that Muslim faith was real. And make no mistake about it.
Made him a better person.
No question. And even a controversial figure who said some deplorable things that I'm sure in his solace he regretted. Even a guy like a Hulk Hogan. I do believe found Christ towards the end. I do believe that.
Yeah, I agree. Because I was a Hulk Hogan fan until that stuff came out, but towards the end he did. And
even a guy that it was a very controversial figure politically. One thing that I'll miss about Charlie Kirk, whether you like him or not, liked him or not, is in the past tense. He brought back the ability for people to peacefully debate, and that's something that I hope lives on regardless of political affiliation. Because one of the saddest things about the tragedy is that while I think he was a pawn for people that didn't have the purest intentions, I think towards the end of Charlie's life, he started seeing that while his message in his eyes was real, there were people who were taking advantage on the wrong ways. And I think he started to catch that revelation before his waning hours, waning days. And one of the sad things is that one of the fiercest people on the left saw a text from Charlie wanting them to be grown men and debate. And that's something that's beautiful about this country when done the right way, because we should always be able to debate while still keeping it respectful.
I don't want to veer away, but I tell people I watched Charlie Kirk. I followed Charlie Kirk. Not for any, I follow him because I'm the type of person, I listen to everyone. Because I just don't want to have one opinion.
No doubt.
I want to hear everyone. Now, did I agree with everything he said? No. Did I think he was a piece of shit? Yeah. However, I give him credit because he actually brought back, we can debate without name calling, without racial slurs, we can just sit down and have an honest debate.
And I think in the year 2025, if you're a white man and you're constantly talking about issues within the black community, whether you are making valid points or not, it's going to take a while. And sometimes things age better over time to see the true intentions of a man. And if a man's heart was pure, and I think Charlie is somewhere in the middle on that. I don't think he was with the oppression of people, but sometimes the platform doesn't have the right face in terms of, say, the black community. So I could understand that too, because while you and I can speak in detail, because you and I don't see color, we see people.
Right.
And for us to have hard conversations off the air, if I was to just take that on my own and talk about one specific group of people, I might not be received the right way. So I also keep an ear to understanding that there is a grander sensitivity with much reason, because at the end of the day, the America that I grew up in might not be as good for others as it was for me. And sometimes, unfortunately, it does come down to the tone of one's skin. And I am not ignorant to that fact. But I think if anything could be learned from this or any other tragedy for that matter, when voices that make you think get silenced, whether it's a rapper in the 90s, whether it's a political activist in 2025, is that we got to keep the conversation going.
I do want to say something. And this is, and I'll probably make a reel. I'm gonna be honest with everyone about this who's watching. I said some stuff about Charlie Kirk. I did, and I'm not gonna lie, and it was some stuff that was inappropriate. It was. I believe Charlie Kirk believed. I believe Charlie Kirk was true blue to how he felt. I don't think he was fake at all. I think Charlie Kirk was the real deal. What he believed and what he talked, I think he believed it, and I respect him for it because he didn't portray an image. This was him, and I respect him for that.
I respect anybody who puts it all out there, and people like a Charlie Kirk, people like a Tupac Shakur.
You know what? I'm glad you said. Before you go further, I was going to say that I kind of, and people say no. I kind of put him in the thing of Tupac. Now I got stuff falling off my desk, man. Hold on a second. Like Tupac. Reason being, not everybody agreed with Tupac. Misunderstood. He was true to what he said, and he got shot. He got killed. But him and Charlie Kirk are true to what they said. Neither deserve to die, and I'll say that now. And I apologize to everyone. Anything bad I said about Charlie Kirk, I'm saying I apologize because I shouldn't have said that. I didn't say he deserved to die back then, but I said, whatever happened. I said some bad shit, so I'm saying, look, I apologize everyone for anything I've said about this guy because it wasn't right. It wasn't right.
Well, I appreciate it, and it's not so much about a support level of one or the other. One commonality that Mr. Shakur and Mr. Kirk have is that they were both very in tune with understanding that they very well could die for what they strive to be and what they believe in. And one thing that I give both these men credit for while being on completely different ends of the spectrum is that I do think in a perfect world, they both wanted to see unity, even if their views were ever so different. So I will respect them on that. I respect anyone that puts it all on the line in that regard. But the sad part is, I think both these men, one thing they have in common, and a final thought, is that they both were used by a bigger engine that claimed to have their back, so to speak. And at the end of the day, it just isn't that way.
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. You may not agree with him, but he didn't deserve to die.
Nah, nobody does. NFC South heating up, back to the football.
Woo!
Bucks lead is small. In your backyard, the Carolina Panthers make a huge statement. I'm going to click over on this one. They played their best game of the year and upset the mighty Rams. And why do I still call them the mighty Rams? Because what did I say to you, Idris, going into this game?
Yep.
The Carolina Panthers had to play their best game of the year in order to beat. And let me tell you, the Rams made some mistakes that were uncharacteristic. You saw multiple picks thrown by Matthew Stafford. I mean, he was due to throw a couple to the other team. Mike Jackson, the less famous one, moonwalked his way into the end zone. I mean, he could have. But Carolina with a big contribution all around the board. Bryce Young, we talk about maturing quarterbacks. This guy...
Look out.
He's already on my backup plan because Justin Herbert with the fantasy playoffs around the corner gets injured yesterday, non-throwing hand. He's getting surgery right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Very wise on his part to act on it quickly. I already put in a bid for Bryce Young down the stretch, but a total team victory for the Carolina Panthers as both running backs, Chuba Hubbard, as well as Rico Dowdell, contributed. The defense... They did just enough to beat the Rams, and it just goes to show you that even the mighty could fall if you play your game. And one thing about this Carolina Panther team that I give them credit for, they do not quit.
Nope. You know what? It's crazy, man. Because when we made our picks last week, I started to pick the Panthers. I was like, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Adams. I was like, and that defense. And I was watching the game here. And I'm like, and I'm going to be honest with you, at halftime, I was like, Carolina's going to win this game. Because, it was so, I started to drive to Charlotte because it wasn't as cold as I thought it was going to be. I was like, damn, I should go there. But it started raining. I said, nah, I'm not going to go. But here, I'm only an hour or so away from Charlotte. And people here were like, yeah, the Panthers. They were doing this at halftime. And that's when I put on Facebook. I said, I think the Panthers caught a herd of Rams.
Now, this is the thing with a team like the Panthers. They are a great example of peaks and valleys in the NFL when trying to become a winner, because this is a team that beat the best team in the NFL. And make no mistake, just because they lost yesterday, the Rams, in my opinion, are still the best team in the NFL.
I mean, well, you know, you're bound to lose one.
But they also lost to the Saints. The Panthers did. So this is a team that is still learning how to win. But at this juncture of the year, when you have a feather in your cap beating the Rams and you are applying pressure to the division-leading Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were far from impressive yesterday. They did get the dub against Arizona at home.
Yeah.
But right now, if you were to ask me who's the better team, the Carolina Panthers are better than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. It's just a matter.
Dude. They better watch out. Tampa better watch out. Boy, them Carolina kids, those guys are young, and they are playing like they Canales.
Yeah, definitely a candidate for Coach of the Year. There are a couple of coaches that deserve that distinction this year, and it's going to be a tight race. But he's definitely on the ballot.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight race, man. Yeah, I never rooted for the Panthers in the years I've been here, but this year, I started kind of last year, but I ain't gonna lie, dude. I root for the Panthers now, man.
There is one Carolina Panther fan.
I'm straight G. Don't get me wrong. I'm straight G, but I live in the Carolinas now. I root for them dudes, man. I'm not gonna root for when they play the Giants, of course.
No, I get it. I mean, as a son of a Packer fan, my father is the reason I'm so in tune with Giants history, NFL history in general, because my dad taught me so much history about the NFL. Mm-hmm. But, I grew up watching Brett Favre on a lot of Sundays with my dad, and I would watch Giants football with my dad too. So I always had a fondness for the Packers because of their history, things of that nature, and also for the Bears, who your family has a fondness for, because, of course, your cousin Aaron Moorhead was a son of a Chicago Bear. I mean, he got drafted by the Giants, did Emory, but his finest year was with the legendary 85 Bears. So, and of course, your cousin Aaron has a foundation which helps the youth in Chicago go to college, a great cause. Yeah. So, your family does have some roots there, as does mine. My grandfather had a fondness for Chicago, and even in his New York days, he always spoke so fondly of the second city. So, no better time than to make the transition here. Yeah. Some holiday takeaways in this North Division. The Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams kind of has that magic to him. Packers and Bears both made huge statements on the road. Lions falling out of it? ? Vikings are dead! ! The Vikings letting Sam Darnold go and then putting all your eggs in J.J. McCarthy's basket has not worked out. And
without a backup,
you're wasting talent in that receiving room because Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison just aren't going to get what they could because the quarterback play is not there. I really thought Aaron Rodgers just for 1 year would have been the perfect fit, if not Kirk Cousins. We've spoken on it. But the Packers and Bears, man, the oldest rivalry in football, both these teams are making some serious marks in this division. I think the Packers, after Turkey Day, probably went to their TVs thinking on Friday they were going to be in first place. The Bears said, not so fast. Huge victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, we talked about it too. All kinds of issues on the offensive side of the ball.
Look, Green Bay. No, I'm talking about the Vikings first. The Vikings killed themselves. I mean, you let Sam Darnold walk. You still had the oh shoot, I forgot his damn name. You still had rocket scientists as a backup. You let everyone go. You put your eggs in the basket for a quarterback that didn't play at all last year, and you don't have a backup. You didn't have a backup. You got that. You gotta. If anytime you got to, and let's get it. J.J. McCarthy is basically a rookie. We all agree.
Doubt.
He's basically a rookie. You gotta have a veteran behind your rookie, a proven Mike Brown. Who is this guy? You got him as your backup to a rookie. That's what you got?
Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz was a decent contingency plan, but unfortunately, Carson just can't stay healthy.
He can't stay healthy. And, that should have been a call. Let's go get Kurt.
I'm telling you, bro, in the offseason, when Rodgers showed the interest, I understand not wanting to play the Aaron Rodgers game, but for Minnesota to just completely not consider it, that was shocking to me. Because I think Aaron Rodgers, when you consider what he could have brought in the waning hours of his career, so to speak, it would have been similar to what Brett Favre nearly accomplished when he was just probably one poor pass away from going to a Super Bowl in his 40s. The Vikings should have won that game in New Orleans.
You know, Aaron Rodgers' average is usually most quarterbacks good. You go after Kirk Cousins at the break, at the free agent. You go after him. You know you're not going to pay his whole salary. You know that. You trade for him. Atlanta's going to give. They're going to say, well, okay, we'll take some of the salary. So you know you're going to get him pretty cheap. I mean,
right.
You go and you got a guy loved by the city, loved by the players, because you know Jed and them love him.
And he knows that offensive playbook like the back of his hand.
You got Adam Thielen there, the man that he loved to throw to. You got Jed, the guy who he loved to throw to. You got all that stuff. He wanted to be there. The city loved him. It was a match made in heaven. And you stick it out with J.J. McCarthy knowing you got Carson Wentz gone for the season.
And the problem is not just that it's going to be an agonizing kind of like patience-driven thing for McCarthy's growth as a quarterback, but what's more frustrating, the young man, unfortunately, even going back to once he got out of Michigan with the national title, the kid just can't stay healthy. And that is a problem, a big problem for the Minnesota Vikings moving forward. But I want to ask you this, Idris. We're coming up on the final month of the season. Today is December 1st.
Yep.
Packers or Bears? Because I'm already excluding the Lions from this conversation. Who's going to win the NFC North?
I'm going to go Packers. I'm going to tell you why. The Bears are winning, but Caleb Williams ain't looking that good, though.
And if I'm not mistaken, don't they finish the year against each other? They haven't played this year yet, so they haven't played yet.
No, they haven't played yet. Nah, they haven't played yet. I'm going Packers, man.
Currently undefeated in the division, which is a head up on the Bears. So in the event that these two teams split, the tiebreaker could go in the Packers' favor due to that tie in Dallas, or once again, it could hurt them. So it's going to be close, but this is how I see it ultimately lining up. I think the Packers and Bears both go to the postseason. I think the Lions are going to miss the playoffs outright, and I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to find their way in.
I do too.
And watch out that the Philadelphia Eagles don't fall all the way down to the 7, or if they flat out miss. Now, the one thing
if they don't win the division, I don't think they make it. I'll be honest. If they don't win the division, I don't think they make it.
Well, the thing the Eagles got going for them is that their schedule is very favorable down the stretch, because you got the Los Angeles Chargers next week, who may not be with Justin Herbert. We don't know.
They got Trey Lance?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
No, I'm joking, man.
We'll see. But
I'm joking, man.
You got 2 games against the Commanders, and you got a game in Buffalo. So the schedule is definitely favorable for the Philadelphia Eagles, which is good this time of the year. But Dallas right now, even if they don't win the division, I think is going to be a playoff team, given the way that they're playing offense right now. Green Bay was my Super Bowl pick to win the NFC over the Rams. They have been a tough team to forecast, but every time that I'm ready to stick a fork in Green Bay and say they're not good enough, they do something like they just did in Detroit.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I can't stand the Cowboys, man. But I hate to say this. I think they're going to win the division.
Well,
I think they're going to win the division.
This is the interesting caveat to that. No one has won back-to-back in this division for 20-plus years, and the Cowboys could possibly keep that tradition going. And I'll be real with you. I want that to happen.
I do, too.
The Giants winning 2 in a row, I don't want anybody doing that.
And listen, everybody, don't get it twisted. We are not rooting for the Cowboys. We are rooting against the Eagles, okay?
That's a good way to put it. But I will say this, just like when I go to the polls, I approach the Cowboys and Eagles as the lesser of 2 evils.
Right.
And while media made stuff in the 90s suggested that the Cowboys were our fiercest rivalry because we're the old we're the old guard and they're the new guard and da. Make no mistake, 1933 until the Philadelphia Eagles are our main rival. It's a turnpike rivalry, and I hate them very much.
Right. We got the only thing that separates us is a bridge.
And shouts out Aaron Moorhead. I hate that I like you, even though you coach for the enemy, but you are a quality person.
That's what I say. I love them know that. Same thing. I like your family, but I hate who you work for.
No doubt. But they are a damn good organization. Let's see what happens here. Nick Sirianni potentially on the hot seat. The Eagles have proven in the past they are not afraid to move on.
The fans are already throwing him under the bus.
And when the OC is your choice, and you have that stubbornness to not remove him from that role, and your offense continues to struggle, you're going to hear about it. Especially in Philly, they're not quiet fans. Ladies and gentlemen, in the coming future, near future, me and Richie have a lot to say. No doubt. No doubt. Colts no longer a shoe-in or a horseshoe-in to win the AFC South, as it's now become a 3-team race. We're already seeing the Daniel Jones.
That was a low blow. I heard
talking that shit. 3 of 4 losses, comparing it to 2022, which is stupid because he won a playoff game in 2022.
Yeah.
But there is some truth to it, too. Things have not been as smooth for these Colts, as I'm sure the daughter of the late Jim Irsay is scrambling because she is all the way invested in every aspect of football operations.
Time out. I'm not trying to be a Daniel Jones apologist. However, he is playing with a fractured tibia.
Yeah, fibula. Yeah, and let me tell you something. That's a different kind of toughness.
It hurts. I had one. It hurts.
It takes some serious. Takes some serious testicular fortitude to go out there, especially against a defense like the Houston Texans. Something weird that happened yesterday. Kyrie Fairbairn misses an extra point. The referees called it good.
They called it good.
What in the name? And that actually was a vital extra point because instead of playing for a field goal for a tie, the Colts needed to score a touchdown.
Dude, I watched that whole game. I'm not one to complain about calls. I'm really not.
But how do you miss that?
Dude, that's not even the only one. They called the interference. They called one time they had a delay of game. They didn't call a delay of game. It was like at least 2 seconds after.
But all the years I've watched professional football, that's a first. I have never seen someone miss an extra point or a field goal and have it called.
And they called it good.
I had never in my life, even on those weird ones where you get like the upright and it'll ding in. Yeah. Like for instance, Caleb Parkey back in that playoff game against Philly. At initial eyesight, I thought it won in. And then I realized that it didn't. But the point to be made is, how do you miss that? Man? How do you all miss that,
dude?
But that is just the quintessential example of a human brain fart. And I'm be honest with you, it did help the Texans immensely. As this division goes, Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans, this is a 3-team race. Who do you have winning this division?
I don't know, man.
I have a weird feeling Houston's going to find a way.
I'm probably going to go with Houston because, like I said, Daniel Jones is playing on a bad leg, and that means you got to leave it to Jonathan Taylor, and they kind of shut him down yesterday. And you shut Jonathan Taylor down, you got half of the Colts done. Because
a big part of Jones's game is the running element.
The running game.
He can't take off. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, he couldn't run yesterday. So, man, as much as I wanted the Colts to get I got to say, I don't know. Because Jacksonville's actually playing good at home, something they have a history of not doing. I don't know, man.
Before defense wins championships, defense wins division titles. That's why I'm rolling with Houston. I'm pulling for Indy for Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I would like to see him get in, but truthfully, unfortunately, it's just the worst timing for him to have these physical breakdowns. And speaking of physical breakdowns, Justin Herbert's health. Broncos hang on. Chiefs fighting to sneak in. The Broncos are a weird team. They are tied for best record in the AFC. Actually, they jumped to New England. That will get evened again if the Patriots beat the Giants. But the point to be made is against lower competition, the Raiders come out. I'm not going to put the Giants on that list because the Giants are talented.
Yeah.
But the Broncos have sleepwalked through some inferior competition to get dubs. Yesterday was a glaring example of that.
Yeah.
Barely beating the lowly Washington Commanders without Jaden Daniels.
With a backup quarterback, yeah.
Yeah, for real. And they did the same thing against the Raiders, sleepwalking, barely win. But this is a team that beat the crap out of the Cowboys. This is a team that won in Philly and won on the road. This is a team that mounted a massive comeback against the G-Men.
Yep.
You know, they are a tough. This is a team that beat the Chiefs, so they're a tough team to figure out. But as of right now, you know, I think the Broncos are still the best bet to win the West and to make a sincere playoff run. My AFC prediction was Bills and Broncos. Bills are going to have to do it on the long road as a wild card. Could it be done? Maybe. And the main reason is New England's inexperience. We shall find out. Even if they get home field or get the 2 seed, New England is inexperienced in these games. Mike Vrabel's experience could shorten the gap, but they will be vulnerable in that regard. You get a third game with Buffalo and New England, I don't know. I mean, Buffalo's been there and done that, so it's going to be interesting. As Justin Herbert goes, past the concerns of my fantasy team, as we are winding down for the playoff push, he might play week 14. He might not. Fortunately, it's the non-throwing hand.
Yeah.
But I expect him to be back for the playoffs, worst case scenario, talking about fantasy playoffs and then obviously real playoffs. But Jim Harbaugh is going to take it easy with that. It comes at a bad time for Cowboys fans because they will definitely be rooting for the Chargers to beat the Eagles in SoFi. That Chargers defense playing much better. Omarion Hampton was expected to play yesterday. He did not. Kamani Vidal got the start. He played decent enough. Herbert, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Underwhelming yardage numbers, but he left the game early. I think that he's a 50-50 to play, but as long as he could grip the football, there's a broken bone in his hand. Like I said, fortunately for him, it's not the throwing hand, because if that was the case, season over. Chargers still have a chance to be a viable upset candidate for people in the playoffs. They do not have history on their side, as the Chargers have had a lot of dubious playoff failures. I will go on the record and say this. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I had them missing it anyway. And I got a lot of heat from a lot of Chiefs fans, a lot of people who, and also people who just, you know, I said, nah, Chiefs going to miss it this year. Yeah. One thing we missed about Tampa Bay, Bucky Irvin went in there and did his thing.
About damn time.
I know, Bucky Irvin. Anyway, I think with Herbert, I mean, he's played with some injuries in the past. So, I mean, he's a tough guy. But I don't think Harbaugh put him in there in harm's way. I think Trey Lance to get a lot of work this week. And he needs to work. He needs to work.
It will definitely be a challenge if Trey Lance gets the start. I'll put it out there right now. If Trey Lance plays, the Eagles avoid a 3-game losing streak. If Justin Herbert plays.
I'm going the other way. I'm gonna tell you why. And it's like I look at how he did Colin Kaepernick. He brought Colin Kaepernick there and made him, you know.
I remember the upset on primetime against Bill Belichick's Patriots with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. And see, Trey Lance. Yeah, Trey Lance is Harbaugh's type of quarterback. So I think
make a good point.
Yeah, I think he'll really work at Trey Lance and be like, look, blah, 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 you got the legs, you can throw. You just got to get it up here. You got to get your head right. So I think he'll have Lance ready, but I think Herbert might play. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Herbert's going to do everything possible. I mean, it was no panic in his swag after the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he even came back in and played, but he flat out said, surgery tomorrow. It's my non-throwing hand. I'll find a way. And if old man Rodgers could figure it out, I have a good feeling for Justin Herbert. Last thought. Will Dallas win the East? Eagles offense in quicksand. Giants and Commanders look to 26. We already covered the Giants rather well. We know that the Commanders just an injury-plagued season. This is more about the Cowboys and the Eagles, the 2 teams that are vying for this East title. I already said a little bit ago, nobody has repeated in over 20-something years. The Eagles have a shot to do that. Dallas is tightening the margin right now between first and second place. I'm going to say yes. I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this division. And I normally don't buy on the Cowboys. I haven't done that since they were the 2 seed. And unfortunately for them, got blown out by the Green Bay Packers. If the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs, I have a feeling Dak Prescott finally makes it to an NFC title game the story may end in SoFi against the Rams, but there's something different about this Cowboys team. I know that I talked about tragedy galvanizing teams, things of that nature, but there's a different look to this Cowboys team, and it's because I think that they are playing with house money and they are not afraid of failure. They are just letting their balls hang. And after coming back from 21-0 against the Eagles, something is reinvigorated in that stadium, in that locker room, and then you go and beat the defending AFC champion, albeit the Chiefs are not who they used to be. Still a quality win. Mm-hmm. Dallas is finding ways to win the close games, and they keep fighting.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, I'm the biggest Dallas hater on the planet. Steven, they ain't got nothing on me. And I don't hate the franchise. I don't hate the franchise. I really don't. I hate the fans. That's why I hate. I hate just like Stephen A. Smith. I hate the fans. To where Philly, I hate the team, but I like the fans. That's why I hate them. But I'm gonna say it. As much as a Dallas Cowboy hater I am, and I hate them for the fans. But I hate them all. I hate them. I hate Dallas period. Can't stand them all. They're gonna win the division. Dallas Cowboys gonna win the division. The only problem I have in the I think Dak will show up in the playoffs this time. But once you get to the playoffs, you're playing those good teams. And I'm still like the defense has gotten better, but there's still holes in it that need to be fixed.
The thing that scares me if I'm not a fan who doesn't want to run into a hot Cowboy team. We saw yesterday that a team that runs offense similarly to the Cowboys was able to outlast the most talented team in the conference, which is the LA Rams. Could Dallas in round 2 or something, if they draw LA, can they upset them? I'm going to say watch out.
You know who I want to see them play in the playoffs if they make it? I want to see them in the Carolina Panthers play.
That would be a hell of a rematch.
Yeah. I would like to see that because Donnell gets to, okay, I beat him once. Because, Dallas' problem has been what? Stopping that run. They've gotten better.
They have struggled, but I will say this. Now, it might be some assistance from the Eagles coaching staff, but they were able to put the raps on Saquon Barkley as basically everyone, with the exception of the New York Giants in the rematch. Game 1, they held him down.
Yeah.
But Saquon, I'll be real with you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, those in the building would know better. Mm-hmm. But I believe that Saquon Barkley is strongly considering an early exit from the NFL, similar to his icon hero football player, Barry Sanders.
I agree. I think, you know what? And I know if Eagles are like, oh, man, you just mad. No, when I say that, when I get ready to say because I'm not mad at it, the Eagles are seeing what we had in Saquon.
Correct.
They're seeing what we had. And this is not the knock on Saquon. Dope running back, probably going to the hole, did it all, da-da-da-da. But this is the problem we had with Saquon. He'll have a good year, then he'll come back and have a whatever.
I personally think all those old injuries are mounting. And I think last year he showed his ass. He put it all on the line.
Yeah.
But Saquon Barkley put his body through a lot of hell to do what he did last year.
Yeah.
And I personally think that even if Saquon decides to honor his contract, he will be out of the league in less than 2 years, retired and waiting on his gold jacket. The one sad thing for Saquon. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that the Eagles are going to do right by him because he's a Pennsylvania kid. Even though he has Bronx roots, he's more of a Pennsylvania guy. Mm-hmm. He will probably get into the Eagles' Ring of Honor, even though it's a short stint because of his contributions to the greatest season of any running back, in my opinion. O.J. Simpson, if he were alive, could raise his hand. Eric Dickerson could raise his hand. CJ 2K out of Pine Hills, Florida, could raise his hand.
CJ,
yeah, CJ 2K, the pride of Pine Hills. But this is the thing, dude.
Whoa! He's at the Pine Hills?
Yeah, he built his mama a beautiful house there.
I didn't know he's from Pine Hills. Never mind.
Yeah, you got fam. I know. You make stops there. Point to be made here is Saquon Barkley doesn't really have a home in terms of lineage and legacy because he basically burned out the bridge with the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
Now Tiki took a misstep with the organization. Now he's back in the good graces. I'm going to say this, and I'm not just talking about Giants football. I'm talking about running back versus running back. Mm-hmm. There are two guys well, there are many players, but two guys at the top of my list that belong in the Hall of Fame like yesterday. Darren Woodson of the 90s Cowboys belongs.
Should have been in there. Should have been in
Damn
there.
right. And Mike Zappi will second my emotion. Tiki Barber, when you look at what he did during his career, the only running back that was better than him was LaDainian Tomlinson. There is no question that Tiki Barber belongs in the Hall of Fame, and I don't want to hear that he retired early. His numbers are there. He was the best player on the Giants.
Terrell Davis
he left the
retired
Giants
early. He's in there. Billy Sims retired
people
early.
People want to say that the Super Bowl doesn't matter. That's a crock of shit because TD has 2 rings.
Megatron.
Whereas Tiki walked away.
Tiki walked away. Yeah, is it Megatron? Didn't he get in there already?
I believe so. And
you got to put Tiki in there. You got to put Tiki in there.
Nah, this comes down to a personality. We like you, we don't like you thing. Tiki will eventually get in, but it's a joke. Yeah. And he will go down as the only offensive player that was a Hall of Famer. Now, you had guys that had Hall of Fame brilliance that didn't have the longevity, guys like Hakeem Nicks, guys like Odell Beckham Jr., guys like Victor Cruz.
Yeah.
But, Tiki belongs in the Hall of Fame, as does Darren Woodson. Last thing I want to say.
Walking there together.
Yeah, and TC, the guy who helped Tiki's fumbling issues. Last thing I want to say before we get out of here, Idris, floor is yours. I know that you're honing in on Tuesdays to start this new music show, and you also, of course, have the boxing show as well, which we've been putting some shorts out to let our viewers know. But expand on the thought, and when do you intend on starting these shows? I know that Tuesday is the day you're honing in on.
What I'm gonna do with the boxing show, I'm gonna do all that stuff on Tuesday. You'll see, you guys will see a lot of reels with boxing. I'm pretty good with the reels, and I can really, focus on certain subjects. I was gonna start it next week, but I'm gonna start actually the beginning of the year, every other Tuesday, perhaps every Tuesday. Let me see what's going on. But we're looking at right now every other Tuesday. We're gonna have a show where we're talking hip hop, we're talking sports. We're gonna combine stuff where it's just not sports. We're talking athletes in sports. My bad. Artists like actors, I meant to say, and musicians who were athletes at first. Like with the boxing, the same thing. We're gonna bring all that in there. We're gonna add like a little hip hop little thing to it. We're just trying to expand, y'all. So we'll have the announcements, but y'all look out for our reels on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Me and Richie putting them out. We're putting them out. You should get some every other day. We're going to keep you up on everything. So stay tuned. Check out the reels, man. We got a lot of info on the reels, man.
Too, that we're probably going to be doing as the playoffs intensify in the NFL. We're probably going to be hitting on some historic value shows in terms of keeping it fresh. We do it on a yearly basis, having debates about some of the best teams of yesteryear, teams that didn't win, that should have won, where they stack in history, players, coaches, and actual teams alike. We did a couple of years ago do a detailed breakdown of the greatest franchises in terms of historical value. Of course, those things can change because, history keeps moving. And once something happens, it's already history. So also look for some hardwood classic talk in addition to current NBA talk, as we love to hit on the bigger debates regarding the NBA. We got the MLB hot stove that's going to continue to crank out and heat up as the New York Mets and New York Yankees are leading the tabloids right now in terms of moves that need to be made. It will be rather interesting. And Francisco Lindor been linked to the San Diego Padres as a potential salary dump. And this is going to open up a controversy because some light's been shed on the fact that Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor flat out just don't like each other. But it would be a disservice for the Mets to get rid of Francisco Lindor, who I personally think as a professional and as a leader has grown so much since putting on the orange and blue. And I know no one would be sadder than my main man, Richie Dorney, who my beautiful niece, Camilla, had a Lindor sign, and props to Francisco Lindor. He stopped what he was doing. He walked right up into the crowd and signed a ball and took pictures with Camilla. Say what you want about Francisco Lindor, the player, or the fact that he's a Met if you're a Yankee fan. The guy's a girl dad, and the guy's a real gentleman.
That's what I'm a girl dad, so I know how I feel. It's a great feeling. But we got a lot of stuff coming, y'all. Y'all need to stay tuned to the Richard Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. We got some stuff for y'all. We taking it to another level. We are not ESPN. We're not Fox. We are objective. We lay it down. We invite guests. If you want to be a guest on the show, hit Richie up, Richie Hicks Jr. or the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast on Facebook. Hit him up. Hit me up. Bosco from the Bronx on Facebook. Come on the show. Let's talk some sports. Let's talk some hip hop. Let's have a conversation.
And last thought on Francisco Lindor. I had the pleasure and privilege of attending the 9-11 and 9-12 Yankee Mets series on the 20th anniversary. Of course, Aaron Judge played hero on 9-11. 9-12 was more of a comical kind of game.
Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton and Francisco Lindor were doing their best version of home run derby.
Yeah.
And when Lindor hit his third home run after I was talking shit about his batting average, literally milliseconds later, my best friend in New York, who is married to a Dominican woman, but he is Irish. He's a white man. Some people call him Suge White because of his ferocious beard and his style of business wear.
Suge
Richard
White.
Dorney, I'm talking about you. This man produces a Puerto Rican flag out of nowhere, dapping it up, hugging up some cats from Washington Heights, and I'm like, Rich, where did you get this flag from? And then he started saying, that's for talking shit about Lindor. This is for your grandmother, Maria de Jesus. I was like, my grandmother was a Yankee fan. He was like, I don't care. He's from the island. Vintage Dorney, similar to the Victor Cruz game against the Dallas Cowboys, always providing a Puerto Rican flag, as he is one of those who believes that by growing up in my household and growing up on grandma's cuisine, that he too is Puerto Rican.
This is why you need to tune in to the Richard Hicks Jr. Sports. We do more than sports around here.
Got to do our shouts as we always do before we get out of here. Check out the V-Mix, the Vicious Mix on live365.com, where you see this guy, Idris, mixing down some great music. Check out our friends at the Casual Convo Show every other Monday or Wednesday, Hand Radio, 8 to 10 p.m. Check out the Sports Corner with our friends, Johnny Nast and Joseph Gallagher. Check out the Bleed Blue podcast. Shouts out Steve Azul. Check those guys out as well. Until next time, he is Idris and I am Richie. Lots coming on the show. Announcements to come for our next one. Go Giants.
CD Lamb card. CD Lamb card. We out, y'all.
Have a good day, everyone.